जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय राधे श्याम ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद् ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद श्रील गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय विष्णुपाद श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सदगोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्यामकुंड राधाकुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मायापुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। गंगामयी यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone. Today we are reading from chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita entitled Perfection of Renunciation. Verse number 6. Etani apitu karmani sangam tvekta falani cha कर्तव्यानि मे पार्थ नीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम् एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानि इति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम् एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम्
एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्
एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्
एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम्
तान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम्.
Word to word meaning, etani, all these, api, certainly, tu, but, karmani, activities, sangam, association, tvaktva, renouncing, falani, results, cha, also, kartavyani, should be done as duty, iti, thus, me, my, partha, O son of Pritha, nishchitam, definite, matam, opinion, uttamam, the best. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Purport. Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up, but the sacrifices that purify one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is said that any activity which leads to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. That is the highest criterion of religion. A devotee of the Lord should accept any kind of work, sacrifice, or charity which will help him in the discharge of the devotional service to the Lord. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindubhye cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Before we go into today's discussion, I seek blessings of all the assembled devotees. Although I'm most unqualified, but still I've been given a service to share whatever I'm learning. So please forgive me for my upcoming shortcomings. So we are in the 18th chapter. So we are basically coming to the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. So here Krishna is winding up his teachings, right? Soon Krishna is going to give the final instruction, surrendering onto Krishna. Now, as we see, this is also the conclusion. So Krishna is going to summarize all the topics that Krishna has discussed in the last 17 chapters. Now it is interesting, in the opening of this chapter, Arjuna is asking two questions again. Arjuna is asking, what is the difference between sannyas, taking sannyas, and renunciation? Now Krishna is explaining sannyas means giving up all activities which are based on material desires. And renunciation means all the activities, doing all the activity, giving up the results of activities without seeking for results. So in one sense, they both seem the same, right? And actually Krishna will conclude saying that they both are not different, they both are the same. But on the other hand, sannyas also means people, they follow nitya karmas, but they give kama karmas. Kama karmas means that activities which elevate them to heavenly planets, or begetting a child, or having properties. So anything that is leading to their sense gratification, people give it up. So that is called sannyas. And renunciation, the tyaga here means they do only nitya karmas, but these are helping them to spiritually advance. So different sages define differently, but that's why Krishna is stating them as different. But again, he will be concluding in the verse 7. He will be concluding here saying that both are not different, they both are the same according to his opinion. Now Krishna here in the 5th shloka, he says that acts of charity, sacrifice, and penance should not be given up. Even it purifies even the great souls. Now coming to this particular shloka, 18.6, Krishna is saying that do all your activities, whether it is a sacrifice, whether it is the charity, whether it is any kind of austerities, do without attachment. Means he is telling us do without the doership mentality, that I am the doer. Then he's also telling that do the things without any expectation of results. I will get something good out of it, or I will get something not good out of it. And then he's saying that do it as a matter of duty, because it is needed. Now, actually the Vedas describe two different types of paths. One is the Nivritta Marg and one is the Pravritta Marg. So Pravritta Marg is for the people who are still attached to sense gratification. But with the help of the Vedas, they are climbing, going upward, but still the progress is very slow because they're basically very much attached to sense gratification. Now Nivritta Marg is the path of renunciation, where they understand with the help of the knowledge of the Shastra that, the material world is temporary and the activities doesn't lead us to liberate, but they lead us to bondage. So Srila Prabhupada is telling that, one has to engage in activities, even in this conditional life, which will elevate them, which will lead them to have the satisfaction of the soul. Now then Prabhupada explains that what is actually dharma. Like every living entity has a particular dharma. But what is dharma itself? Dharma means that which sustains one's existence. That means which is the inherent nature of that particular substance or that particular entity. Now Prabhupada gives the example of salt. The nature of the salt is to be salty, and the nature of the water is to be liquid. So similarly, the nature of the living entity is to be in love. But in love with whom? With Supreme Lord. So the living entity has to coordinate his inherent nature with the Supreme Lord to have that satisfaction. Now here in this particular purport, Prabhupada is telling that, a devotee should accept any kind of work, sacrifice or charity which will help them to discharge devotional service. That means that one should have this discrimination, that intelligence to understand that this work or this sacrifice or this austerity will actually help me in my devotional service. And Bhagavatam very famously says, Savai pumsa paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahaituki apratihata ye atma suprasitati. So the activities which we do in devotional service alone will satisfy the soul, nothing else. And then after this shloka, Bhagavatam gives another shloka which is giving a contradictory. Dharma swanushtita pumsa vishvaksena katasuya notpadayeti ratim shamayevahi kevalam. Now again, the Bhagavatam again is saying that don't perform any kind of occupational duties which will not lead you to loving Krishna. And if you do those kind of activities which doesn't foster that loving relationship with Krishna, it is nothing but a useless endeavor. It is like beating the, husk, like the empty husk. And you don't have the grains, but you're beating up. So it is a lot of endeavor to beat the husk. But what are you getting? You're not getting the grain, but you're getting the empty husk. So Gita and the Bhagavatam is in the same line. It is encouraging especially the human beings to go on to that path, to perform those activities which will help us to gain that loving relationship with Krishna. Now, in the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Devahuti, there is a chapter called Devahuti's Lamentation. Now, she's lamenting, after, even though she's a royal princess, she's married to such a great sage, Kaddama Muni, she had 9 daughters. Now she's lamenting. She's lamenting saying that, I haven't utilized the benefit of your association. I also was moved by my material desires and I was engaged in my material sense gratification. But actually I haven't taken any enough association of yours. And then she quotes a shloka, 3:23:56. Neha yat karma dharmaya naivargaya kalpate na pada sevaya jivan api mrityo hi saha. Any kind of work or any kind of activities which should lead us to religious life. And that religious life should lead us to renunciation. And that kind of renunciation should lead us to devotional paths. If not, even though one is living, they are considered to be dead. Now, if we observe the whole human society, they're living, but they're actually dead. We can even think for our own selves, how did we start up in our Krishna consciousness? I mean, we are also we are working, we were studying, we were making so many plans, but we were actually dead. But we came in touch with the devotees, they introduced us to devotional service. We started up the devotional activities, now we are getting our life, isn't it? So, this is the moment to be expressing gratitude. Recently, I was visiting my parents back in Hyderabad, and also I went to see one of my relatives, my uncle. So, it was very interesting. He was telling me, oh, you're not working outside, but you're working for ISKCON, right? So I did catch the point. Okay, that means that you're actually working, but instead of working outside, you're working in ISKCON, which is nothing but both the same. But I didn't want to get into the argument, but I was reflecting on this point that, although it's seen the same thing, they eat, we eat prasad, they enjoy the music, we enjoy the kirtan, they do activities, we also do activities for Krishna. They all externally seem the same. But those activities they are doing, they are taking on to a different road. But what we are taking, it is leading us back to Godhead. Interesting, right? It is the same activities, but externally the same, but internally we are, growing up. Because we are not the gross body or the subtle mind. We are beyond this, Although I may not consciously live thinking that I'm the spirit soul, but the activities itself is helping my consciousness to, expand, grow, understand, isn't it? So slowly, we are getting to that point to understand that we are starting to do devotional activity out of duty. But if we continue to be on this path, we will be going to the time where we will understand, actually I'm Krishna's servant, And this is what I needed, spontaneous devotional service. Now the devotional service we are doing, it is out of duty because we got an instruction from our spiritual master. We have instructions from the sadhus and from the Shastra that you have to be engaged. So, but the very fact that we are stick to this plan, we are doing out of duty, then we will slowly leading up to that spontaneous devotional service. And what is this sadhana bhakti doing to us? It is awakening that dormant affection that we have for Krishna, right? And now, we may not start, we may, or most of you might, but I didn't start this devotional service asking who am I, I like prasadam in ISKCON, that's how I got attracted. I like the devotees, I came attracted to them. I like the kirtan, so I got attracted to them. But there are many people who might be having these existential questions and coming to know who am I. So Krishna consciousness, especially ISKCON, is facilitating for all kinds of people. And the goal is to awaken that dormant affection for Krishna. Now, in this context, I wanted to share one story. There is one young boy. He meets his spiritual master somewhere in South India, in Sri Rangam. So he has his spiritual master. I wanted to know who am I, So the spiritual master sees that this boy is very eager. So he gives him a task. Okay, I will give you the answer, but I will direct you to one of my friend who is living in Tirupati. You should go there and ask him. So from Srirangam to Tirupati is like 400 miles. It's quite a lot of distance, Unlike today, we don't have motorbikes or cars or trains. It's old times. So he walked all the way 400 miles to find out his answer for his question. Who am I and what qualities do I need to go on to this path of self-realization? Sorry, I missed that question. Yeah, he has two questions. Who am I and what are the qualities I need to work on this self-realization path? So he goes and he meets the guru's friend in Tirupati. And he meets, and then the guru's friend, he receives him very nicely. And then immediately he asks this question. So he says that, okay, for today you rest, I will think about it and I'll come back to you. So this boy, 6 months passed, and all these 6 months he was menially engaged in service. He was doing so many different activities. He was helping his guru's friend in carrying out different tasks. So one day it happened, so there was a big, huge crowd of pilgrims coming. So he served prasadam to all the pilgrims. Then the first set of pilgrims left, and then he was about to sit down and take prasad. And then the guru's friend comes and he says that, no, there is another set of pilgrims, they are coming in. You serve them too. Okay, he serves them. Then again he's about to sit and he says, no, not yet. There's a third set of pilgrims are coming. Okay, he serves them. Then he's about to sit and again the fourth set of the pilgrims comes and then he serves. By the time all the pilgrims left, it was late in the night. So finally he sat down about to eat prasadam, and then he says, his guru's friend, he says that, I finally have the answers for your questions. So he put the prasadam aside and he was so eager. He wanted to know, like, what should be my qualities? Who am I? Then he says that you should have the qualities like of the salt, chickens, crane, and yourself. And then he says that if you want to know more, you should ask your guru. Now, he's there for 6 months, doing so much menial service, and he gets a crypto code, right? He gets a crypto code. And I don't think if we are said in the similar way, I don't know if I will be accepting. But this disciple is very sincere. He agreed. He took the crypto code. He paid his obeisances, and he again walked 400 miles to find that answers, to decode this code. Then he went to his guru and he said that this is what happened. I served for 6 months and what all happened. And then finally he gave me a crypto code that I should have. He said that you should have the qualities like the salt, chickens, a crane, and yourself. So the guru started to explain. Salt, it's like the salt should not be too much or too little in the dish, isn't it? If you have too much or too little, it doesn't taste nice. So it implies that we should have a spiritual balance. We should be balanced in all circumstances. Now Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 6th chapter, one should be regulated in his work, recreation, eating and sleeping, right? So one has to be like that. And also another quality of the salt is to remain hidden. It is always hidden. So one has to serve without expectation anything. Because usually the salt is hidden. People usually taste the spices, taste the vegetables or the lentils or the rice. But they never say, oh, the salt in this dish is so fabulous. No one gives a comment like that. They say the vegetables are very nice, the rice is very nice, right? So one should be just like salt. One should be having no expectation, but sincerely serve without having expectation for praise or recognition. And they're happy to give credit to others. And another quality of the salt is it blends with everything, right? So similarly, we should also keep aside our egoistic mentality on the spiritual path to find out who we are, to nurture who we are, and to mend into the services. Now, the second example is the chickens. Have you seen the birds, the chickens? Small birds, yeah. They're very good. They select all the good grains and they throw away the trash. So similarly, one has to be like chickens. They have to see good, take good from others, instead of just finding faults. If you are compelled by some circumstances that you have to, give criticism, it should be for the benefit of others, but not that you enjoy seeing other people's faults. So one has to be focus on other people's good qualities, and it will be very enriching for our spiritual life. And the third example he gives is the crane. What does a crane do? Crane is standing on one leg patiently in the river, and it is letting all the small fishes go, and it waits for the one big fish, and when the big fish comes and it catches and it feasts on it. So similarly, there will be so many distractions in our spiritual paths, but we should be focused on the goal. So this means that we should be so patient. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport to 270 Bhagavad Gita, the shloka, Krishna says that there's so many rivers that flow into the ocean, but the ocean doesn't get agitated, right? So Prabhupada there writes that as long as one has the material body, there will be always a demand for the sense gratification. That means that there will be always something, the desires will be coming. But one will not be disturbed if one is full in their Krishna consciousness. So this is an example of the crane that we should be developing patience. And the last example is you himself, the disciple. They're stating the disciple. Why? Because he maintained his eagerness. He maintained his enthusiasm, right? All the way through, through all the hardships, through all the times that were unknown. He doesn't know whether the answers would ever come or not, but he was serving. Nectar of Instruction, verse 3, Rupa Goswami says that utsaha, the first quality he's describing is utsaha. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that one has to endeavor with intelligence. It's not just endeavor, but actually one has to endeavor with intelligence. So, again, here in this story, we understand that why did this disciple needed to go through all this process to hear about these 4 examples. The Guru says that because the heart is like the field, and this wisdom is like seeds. If you want the seeds to be grown, first the field has to be tilled, right? Through the service, we become humbled. Through the service, we learn how to give to others. And also, we develop gratitude for whatever we are having. So sometimes in devotional service, we also feel like we are stuck. I'm just doing. It's very mechanical. I'm not sure where I'm going. Okay, my guru said this. The sadhus are telling me to do this. But I'm not sure whether I'm going on the right or wrong. Of course, there's always the check and balances. You can go and ask your spiritual master, your mentors, and guru, am I doing okay? But there will be also times where we have to exhibit these qualities of enthusiasm, these qualities of patience, this quality of not looking for any kind of praise, just like the salt. And maintain that eagerness all through. So here Prabhupada is saying that one has to accept any kind of work, sacrifice or charity that is helping us in our devotional service. So we will endeavor to work, to execute any kind of sacrifices or perform any kind of charities with the idea that will please Krishna. Not just me, but it is to please Krishna. Now, if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the devotees from Bengal came to Puri Jagannath to attend the Ratha Yatra festival, he tells Murari Gupta, no, you are a doctor. You go and continue in your profession. And Raghunandan, you become the priest. And Narahari Thakur, I think, he tells him, you become the preacher. There, Srila Prabhupada writes, in the eyes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these 3 are the same. They're doing the same thing. Externally, they look again differently organized. Someone is a doctor, someone is a preacher, someone is serving as a pujari. But for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are the same because all of the 3, they are fully Krishna conscious. And if you go to purports, what was it? 8-9, I think. 18-9. In the coming verses, you will see in the purport 18.9, Srila Prabhupada writes, a man working in Krishna consciousness in a factory does not associate himself with the work of the factory, nor with the workers of the factory. He simply works for Krishna. And when he gives up the result for Krishna, he is acting transcendentally. So here Prabhupada is giving a definition of a sannyasi, but he's saying that the person who is working in a factory can also be a sannyasi. So what matters is the internal consciousness. It is not the external activity itself. So whether we are engaged outside the temple or inside the temple, what is really mattering is how are we offering without any attachment, without any, wanting to have this praise or recognition, but doing as a duty to serve Krishna, to revive our natural constitution, position. Now, another benediction that we all have is we are part of the Sankirtan Yajna. You know, there's so many different kinds of sacrifices are explained in the Shastra. But we are engaged in the best of their sacrifices, that is the Sankirtan Yajna. Just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and inducing people to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are helping them to get out of this material existence itself. You know, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Nityananda Prabhu, you know, Sripad, next year don't come to Ratha Yatra. You know, every year you don't need to come to Ratha Yatra. Why? Because I have an important mission for you in Bengal. You preach Krishna consciousness. And what you do, I cannot do it. Now the Lord himself is saying that what you perform, I cannot do it. Why? You see the disciples of Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai and Madai. But you see the disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami. So elite scholars. But then Mahaprabhu is telling that, you know, no, what you can deliver, the Jagais and Madais, I am not able to. Because if you remember the incident, the Madai, he hits Nityananda Prabhu with the earthen pot. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears that and he is about to kill him with his Sudarshan Chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu catches his feet and says that, no, don't do it. You know, you have come here to deliver these fallen souls. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai and Madai became devotees. So here Srila Prabhupada writes, if we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and follow in the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna conscious movement can advance. And even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers, remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. So what is our actual duty? Our duty is very much clearly defined by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Nityananda Prabhu, by Srila Prabhupada, by our acharyas. Yare deko tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Our duty is to teach people to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And, you know, we become the instruments in this Sankirtan Yajna. And I also found one beautiful, beautiful prayer on the chanting of the holy name. You know, sometimes, I have this notions that, I'm not chanting enough, I'm not attentive, I'm not a pure devotee. So what can I preach? So this is a prayer by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he's pleading, saying that, chant anyways. Because how glorious is this chanting? How glorious is this Sankirtan Yajna? And if you go to 6th canto, Sukadeva Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, first we have to understand the glories of the Sankirtan Yajna to explain to others. So he's telling that you understand the glories. So today we will read a prayer from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the translation, so that we will also develop some love and taste. Chant anyway. Your mind is wandering all over the universe when you chant anyway. Your mind is wandering to past and future when you chant anyway. You're not able to concentrate on Krishna's names while you chant anyway. You have no taste for chanting, chant anyway. You have lusty desires, chant anyway. You're making offenses in chanting, chant anyway. You're not praying to Krishna to help you chant better, chant anyway. You often chant late at night, chant anyway. So why? Why should you chant despite all the above obstacles? This is why. There is no vow like chanting the holy name, no knowledge superior to it, no meditation which comes anywhere near it, and it gives the highest result. No penance is equal to it, and nothing is as potent or as powerful as the holy name. Chanting is the greatest act of piety and the supreme refuge. Even the words of the Vedas do not possess sufficient power to describe its magnitude. Chanting is the highest path to liberation, peace, and eternal life. It is the pinnacle of devotion, the heart's joyous proclivity and attraction, and the best form of remembrance of the Supreme Lord. The holy name has appeared solely for the benefit of the living entities as their Lord and Master, their supreme worshipable object, and their spiritual guide and mentor. Whoever continuously chants Lord Krishna's holy name, even in his sleep, can easily realize that the name is a direct manifestation of Krishna himself, in spite of the influences of the Kali Yuga. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Saranagati. So again, this prayer, these are the blessings that we have from the Guru Parampara, making it how Sankirtan is our duty, to perform. Any activities that we perform in the Sankirtan Yajna is much more rewarding, Not only that we go back to spiritual world, even here we will be experiencing that bliss and we will be able to share that happiness with others. So there I end the class. If there are any questions or comments or corrections, I would love to be corrected. And please do forgive me for my shortcomings. Definitely I am not at that stage of chanting, but I am making an attempt to chant. Any...
Is that salt chicken is explained also.
Oh, the salt, chickens and cranes and you. So salt is the, not too much, not too little. So it tells about the spiritual balance. And salt is always hidden. So it's not expecting any honor or, recognition. It's giving credit to others, to all the vegetables. So similarly, we should be like salt. And salt is also...
Should be more or less.
Huh?
Salt should
Not be more or less. Yeah. So that is telling us to become spiritually balanced. And chickens, it's like, you take the good things and leave the trash. So when we are amongst the devotees, it's very often we can see the faults, but try to see the good and nourish that good. Yeah. And then the crane is the symbol of patience and focusing on the goal. And the disciple here was exhibiting the quality of eagerness and enthusiasm. So we should be enthusiastic all the way through the obstacles. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. You mentioned one point that Spartan Bhakti will be developed and we are still doing from duty. In my case, I'm doing it from duty because this rules, regulations, you should do this. And where it will be and what we can do to speed up actually, to have that taste, this spontaneous.
Yeah, like this example that Srila Prabhupada gives, the raw mango, the green mango. When does the green mango becomes fructified? It should always stay with the tree, right? If it stays with the tree, with the time, it will become fructified. So we should stick to the process. And 9.2 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Pratyakshavagamam. No one needs to give you an evidence that you're progressing or not. You can see in your own Krishna conscious journey, isn't it? I mean, somewhere I moved. My consciousness hasn't expanded as much as the pure devotee, but somewhere I came along, right? But to speed up also, we should be very careful of the offenses to the devotees, to the holy name, Seva Aparad, Nama Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad. We should avoid them. And also, we should be praying because there's so many anarthas. The heart has to be still tilled. And sometimes we don't want Krishna to till hard, So, yeah, but we have to stick to the process and eventually that will come. And sometimes, it is also explained like if you're in the flight, when you're flying, you can see the takeoff. When you're landing, the boats. But when you're in the flight, although it's moving at a very great speed, you don't know it, right? It looks very much static. But actually you're moving at a very big, very high pace. So Krishna consciousness is also like that. Sometimes we may not notice it, that how far we have come, compared to many millions of births. In this very lifetime, we have progressed. We are appreciating somewhere the holy name, the process. We are appreciating devotees. So we come quite far. Yes. But to speeden up, just to be careful that we don't commit offenses, and to pray. That's something I'm thinking about. Yeah. If you want to add something, you can add your thoughts.
I would love to add. In my case, I feel that I'm not advancing and moving down. Because in the initial state, I was so enthusiastic and everything was going nice, and chanting and reading and studying and everything. And now it's not going nothing so nicely and easy.
Yeah.
Taste. So is that a sign of some aparats which I'm not aware of, or?
It could be many things. It's not just black and white. It's not just only one thing. Not just because only of the aparats. It could be our own purification process, right? Sometimes we are going up the hill, anatha nivriti. Going up the hill is difficult. Rolling from the top of the hill is easy. So up the hill always seems like, you take 5 steps and you seem like you're coming back 4 steps. And you don't see that you haven't progressed, but you don't see that one step you have moved forward. But in spite of, how do you say, we don't feel enthused the days, but still we are showing up. That itself is a sign that we are progressing, right? Yeah? So, yeah, we are progressing. Are there any more questions or corrections? Or if there are none, thank you so much. Please do forgive me for my shortcomings. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.